How do you strike a balance between being a leader and decisive and being considerate and not trampling over other people? I think the first part of your question was, I can be quite indecisive. I think the answer to that is to just know yourself more. The more you understand, like, here are the type of conversations I love. Here are the type of activities that really matter to me. Here's the type of foods I enjoy or want now. And get really opinionated or really self-reflective and come to terms with that. Then the more in the moment you know of what you want and why it matters to you. So we could talk about being introspective and on another point, but I think decisiveness starts with knowing and accepting who you are, what you want, what you enjoy. So then in the moment, you are just connecting back to that. And in terms of like, how do you balance it? Yeah, of course, like I always consider other people's opinions. To be honest, I still think most of the time you're thinking, hey, I'm considering doing X, but I wanted to check in. What are you interested in? That's fine, but you still are conveying like, I am a person who also knows what I want. But I am open to yours and I'm open to compromise. And sometimes I actually think that's more meaningful because you're saying like, I want to do something, but if you want something different or to compromise, I'm also very, very open to that. And I think that shows a lot of generosity. I don't think you always need to do that. It's okay to defer sometimes, but you also can give a reason. So if you're like, you know what, honestly, I could basically eat anything today. I'm pretty open. What are you into? What do you want right now? And you're saying like, I'm still at a place of like, I am leading in saying, I don't know what I want right now, or I don't care what I get right now. What do you want? I still think most of the time we should try to be decisive and lead a lot. I think we can always give an out of like, hey, this is what I'm looking for, but I want to hear your side. Or, hey, I don't really care what I'm looking for today, which is a form of leadership. What do you want? And here's why. I mean, there's so many reasons. Like, one, a lot of people don't want to be in the position of leading, and they don't want to be in the position of deciding. That's why a lot of people just want to work for somebody, right? Not everyone wants to be a boss or a manager or a CEO. And in fact, a lot of people don't. That's why we have centralized systems everywhere, right? The internet went from like 100 million sites to like 4, okay? Because people like the same things and they want somebody else to build it or do it for them and then to just go with it a lot of the times. So one, when you're always putting the pressure on everyone else, then they feel that pressure and sometimes they don't want to be in that situation. Two, everyone's autonomous. So me wanting people to lead is allowing them to speak up like a human. I am waiting for people to be decisive themselves, and you shouldn't baby everyone. You should also encourage that in them and friends, right? And you can do that sometimes. Like, hey, by the way, anytime you like, whatever we decide later on, just let me know if you want to do something. And you plant that seed of like, you can lead and you be decisive. But then, yeah, I think there's so many reasons of like everything I said, but also it just shows self-assurance. And if you also say, I have this great idea and I think this would be awesome for us to do. And then they're like, cool, I didn't want to make a decision and I'll trust you. And then it ends up being fantastic. They attribute so much of that to you. They're like, hey, he had a great idea and we did it and it was awesome. He's an awesome person. He has great ideas. He's a great leader. I want to learn more from them. So to summarize, I don't think you need to like lead every single time. It's fine to defer to people sometimes. I just think more often than not. The answer is it should be more often than not. If that's 60 or 70% of the time, fine, because we only know ourselves. But also, it takes the pressure off other people that don't want to lead. You can still give them the opportunity to give their input and compromise. Leading is not saying this is definitive. That is controlling. And then also I think that it is quite attractive of a quality, especially as a provider. And if they follow your lead and they come out positive from that, doing an activity with you or joining you for something, then they also attribute that to you and they feel really good about you.